All right, well, we'll call this meeting to order. It's 6:07 and my name's Tammy Brennan and this is Sharon Evans. We're 2 out of 3 on the lister board where we currently don't have a third member, so anything that has to happen, we both have to do it. This is John Vickery. He's Tyler Technology and he is heading the team that's doing the valuation for the town, that it's a state mandated appraisal and they are our appraisal company. So he's here to answer questions about value, how the values are calculated, the data that he pulls from for that. And we've just been hearing a lot of the questions and they're the same questions. So, a lot of people don't realize what a reappraisal is, that its intent is to bring all our properties up to market value. And that's the question that is, can you sell your property for that? And so there's data that they've pulled them that says you can. We need to make sure that your cost sheets are right, that there's been no errors on your property. But that's pretty much the goal, so that the state will look at us and say, okay, you guys are all at market value, because currently our last appraisal was 17 years ago, and they're saying we're about 61% of market value for our assessments. So what they do for their tax rate for education, because that's all in the state's hands, is they tweak our tax rate to bring us up to what they think is comparable to the rest of the state. So we won't have that for the first year because we will be considered market value. So that should help. And I can talk about tax rate, how that's affecting so far with the grand list I lodged thus far, but there's still more values to put in for utilities and telecom. Those are now valued as real estate. I got the white, I got the green.
No, there's no speakers in the room. That mic is for the people online.
For them. To speak up.
You have to enunciate a little.
Yep. Okay, there. I know she can do this. I know she can. I'll poke her.
I'm happy to jump in anytime if you want. That's
to John, and he can take off and we'll it's basically questions, answers. He can give you kind of overall, and that might answer some questions, but if you have any questions, we'll probably have you come up to the table so that you can turn the mic on so that they can hear you, because we do have attendees via Zoom. Okay? Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you coming.
Hi. Okay. Well, thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. Information is always the best thing you can do to learn a little bit. Yes, I can. I'll enunciate. So thank you for coming, everybody. I'm John Vickery. I work for Tyler Technologies. We're a reappraisal company. We're based out of technically Texas and also out of Ohio, but I'm part of the Vermont division, and we were hired about a little over a year and a half ago to do this reappraisal. And we're happy to do it, and we're glad that we're at this point right now where values are becoming public. And I ask all of you to review your own property information as well as tell your neighbors to review theirs. The idea here is to have accurate valuations, have accurate data, and to have values at what they would sell for today. And it's basically an estimation, but it's an estimation based on the sales that have sold over the past several years here in Bakersfield and the broader market as well in some cases. So last reappraisal was done in 2009. That was a year after the housing crisis. So that was a long time ago, 16 years ago, roughly. And the state has mandated this reappraisal. And so abiding to the state mandate, we've been hired to correct those values that were based on 2009. And that's why there's such a large increase in the assessments. I'll give you a general ratio that I think will help to understand this. The median ratio of increase was a multiplier of 1.77. And so if you're a little bit above that multiplier, 1.77, you'll probably pay a little more in taxes. If you're below that, you might actually pay less in taxes, assuming the tax rate doesn't change. And I think here in Bakersfield, the municipal rate is not changing that much. So the proportion of assessments going up to the decline or the decrease in the municipal rate is about equal. And I'm not supposed to talk about the tax rates. You're supposed to do that, but that's okay. I can't help myself sometimes. There's the other component of the education rate, which is usually the larger rate in most places that I've worked. And that is difficult to obtain, but that also has some adjustment for when you do a reappraisal, that adjusts downward as well. I hope that's helpful. I'll give you another fact. The average single-family home is $336,000. $336,500 is the median single-family home value in Bakersfield. $336,500. If
The average value
that's the average single-family home value,
in
Bakersfield, yep. I don't know if anyone here wants to talk a little more, or do we want to start asking some or answering to questions?
I was just gonna say, maybe they have some questions.
Yes.
Well, I know there's a question here about what the new tax rate's gonna be. Andrea Jones has asked. So the grand list, the abstract that we lodged last week, based on that grand list value, Tom calculated what our municipal tax rate would be. And that would be last year's tax rate for Bakersfield was 0.7758 or 7758. And this year's tax rate would be 0.4401. Now, that's going to change a little bit because I'm going to raise the grand list a bit because I haven't put in the utility values or the telecom values, which the state has just sent to us. So that should bring our values up a little higher, should drop our rate just a tad, maybe. It's about that. So I did a little bit of, that means per $100,000 of your value, it'd be about $440.10 at that rate. So it's about that. I did like a, yeah. Oh, gosh. Sorry. Did anybody hear me?
No.
So I did. I pulled a couple of values, right? A $500,000 house that paid, bear in mind, this is the municipal rate, your municipal tax. There's no non-homestead homestead on municipal. It's all the same rate. Bear in mind that 3/4 of your tax bill goes to the school. Okay, that's all in the state's hands. Theoretically, you voted for a budget. That's all they have to raise. So the higher our grand list, the lower their tax rate should come down. Same thing, we voted in a budget for Bakersfield on March 2nd or 3rd or 4th, or I can't remember. That's all the money we have to raise. So whether everybody's house is worth $10, we only have to raise that amount. If everybody's house is $1 million, we only have to raise that amount. So we're not pulling in extra money for Bakersfield. All we need is the money we voted in to run the town, which again is 1/4 of your tax bill. So your voice as, pertaining to budget of what they need to raise is when you vote for your budget. School budget. So remember, 3/4 of tax bills about that, and they get their money 10 days after we collect our taxes. That's a state mandate. So if there's any like delinquent taxes, that's on the municipality. They won't collect their money till those are collected because the school gets their money first. Anyway, for municipal taxes, which is like this home was 315,500. Last year, their municipal taxes were 1354.46 based on the previous assessment. And this year they'll be 1391.36 based on the new value, which is an increase of not quite $40. 40. And so, one of them actually went down. And that ended up, that was a $576,800 house. Last year, they paid 2935.80. This year, with a new rate, it would be 2533.50. So it's basically, what I would do is take your value and for every $100,000 times 440.10 gives you a ballpark. That rate might tweak a little bit because the grand list isn't final.
Wow.
That rate might tweak a little bit because the grand list isn't final. I still have to put in utility values and telecom values. We have to wait till after grievances because that might alter the grand list as well. But that's kind of your tax. That's what I know about taxes. The other thing I want to let you know is this. So, like I think I already said, our common level of appraisal, which is the state studies us, our assessments as opposed to current market value of properties, and they assign us a percentage, and they'll take that percentage and they'll tweak our tax rate for them, education tax rate, to bring us up to where they think we should be for current market value. The first year after this appraisal, our current market value prices are assumed because we just had a reappraisal. So there will be no tweaking this year. After 1 year, they'll have a chance to study us and compare us with the rest of the state. And that's the year I'm being told you'll probably feel a more of an adjustment from the education tax on the second year.
So you're saying this year will be less bad than next year?
Correct. The only thing about this year is people that get like a prebate from the state to assist them in paying their taxes. That prebate is estimated on the previous year's value. So you, according to what your value is, not sure how that works out, but that might be a little less than you current, are used to on the first year.
No, check it out there.
Yes.
Sure. Yep. Come up there, hit the button to do the green light so people online can hear you.
None of us speak in the microphones at church. I should have brought it over.
And state your name.
Hi, my name's Kevin Curley, I live on Witch Cat Road. I have a couple questions. One, the common level of appraisal. And I've thought about the idea of the rolling appraisal. Because if we start dropping from the 100% down and we get close to 80 or 79, then we get penalized. Would it be beneficial for the town of Bakersfield to do a rolling appraisal to stay around 103%, end up paying less on that education side of the taxes?
That's a good question. So a rolling reappraisal has the benefit of an opportunity to keep the equity of among properties in town equitable. As property values don't change over time, they don't change equally. So when you're doing what they call a rolling reappraisal, which is done around the country, but not so much here in Vermont. Definitely other states are reappraising regularly, like every year or every few years. And what it does is that, let's just say, vacation homes or commercial properties are not quite appreciating at the same rate that single family homes are, then the regular adjustments are adjusting more regularly. So that's what happens. I'm not sure if I answered that great.
I mean, I just wonder if it was beneficial, or should I ask this gentleman right here to look into it a little bit closer?
My thought is this, well, I'm sorry, John, you're not done.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, my thought is this, if you're gonna do that, it almost has to be in-house. Because like this reappraisal cost the town a little more than $90,000.
Yeah, but I don't think
Doing that every 6 years is gonna be a hurdle for us.
to do that, or is it just, if we just decide that we're gonna go COLA and add that into our reappraisal, then we don't need to hire a firm to come in, and then the state looks at our values and then says, well, they're right up there, you're around 100%. So then we don't get hit with penalties and stuff. And by doing that, we don't have all these people in this room.
But state statutes changed in 2007. If they're not going to base our need for a reappraisal on a CLA, it's going to be every 6 years. The CLA is just going to be used to tweak our tax rate. So they're not even, we could be at 97% CLA and they'll have us reappraise.
I understand that, but sticker shock is not going to be there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Because it won't be 17 years.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's like you were basically reappraised last year or the year before.
It's been 17 years.
The money to explain the acronym CLA for those. who-
Common level of appraisal.
The common level of appraisal.
Yeah, sorry.
So, and then, all right, so that's just something, it's food for thought for everybody. The other one is, we don't regulate Airbnbs. And I'm wondering if people come in, they buy a property, they don't live here, they're just absentee people, they turn into an Airbnb. Does that turn around and basically just raise our property value, artificially inflate it? Because checks it and nobody knows. So the neighbor has his house for sale for $450, and somebody comes in and they say, we're just giving you $5 and walk away. And then he takes the money and runs. And then it's like, now you have an absentee people that are living there or not living there who rent the place out. So that place looks like it sells for $500,000 when really it would have gone for $4. So if somebody was buying it to live there, and I'm wondering if you see that trend, and maybe you don't, and maybe it's because Bakersfield doesn't track this, we just consider every house sale a residential house sale. So, and I'm wondering about that.
Yeah. There are areas of the state that have a lot of vacation homes and Airbnbs. And in those places where there's a lot of them, they are pulled aside and looked at as a different kind of market. That wasn't done in Bakersfield. I'm not sure that there's enough to understand that it's a separate market and that they sell at a different price point. That's from a valuation perspective.
So, where do I find comparables? It's like to how many, my neighbors, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms they have, so that I can actually sit there.
You can request a cost sheet for them.
So, but it seems like, it's like for this one, that one, I mean, it's hard because I think it was you who told me I got to prove my point. I got to prove my fact that my house isn't worth what it is. My problem is where do I go to find that information?
Like Zillow, you could look at past sales.
I gotta think, why couldn't it be on a sheet with all these valuations? Why couldn't it be bedrooms and bathrooms,
Oh,
on that sheet?
that would have been quite the report. And
Seeing that.
I had to fight to get that report sent to you.
She did.
Postage wise. I had to fight because I said, everybody deserves to see everybody's values and that's gonna help them understand. And that was an uphill battle.
So my one last question. We're gonna have come in and be able to appeal our taxes to you two,
Come in and you're gonna appeal your value or your
Yeah.
taxes?
my value,
That
to
is
you
the
two,
three of us.
three of you. Okay, because it was like, we have two listings and it's like, well, what happens if they each want to disagree, right? So, okay, so we have it, as long as it's three, then I'm good with that odd number.
Yeah. It,
Thought I had it on.
You explain
It is.
what happens if they see you guys.
Okay, so when you grieve, you come to us and
John.
John's here. Well, actually Molly will be here because Molly also, you'll meet her and she did a lot of the valuations. She's an assessor 2 level. And us, the two of us, because the way we are as a town, we have elected lister board. So unless we have a quorum of the elected lister board, we can't do anything, which means we can't do taxes, we can't do homestead decks, we can't do anything.
Lodge the grand list.
We can't lodge the grand list. There, it's like a halt. And the select board, who usually will fill in spots, that's a conflict and they cannot. So we have to be together. We have to agree because there's only 2 of us. And I'm not sure where I was going.
You were explaining what happens.
So you come to the board, we hear you, we hear John, and look at the data, which will be sales data of property in Bakersfield for the last 3.5 years. They've collected every sale. They've got pictures, closing prices, what they went on the market for, how long they were on the market, all that stuff. So, and we'll present it to you and you'll present what you have to us, like, oh, here's a picture of my wall that's crumbling, something that would deter a buyer. You'd also look at your cost sheet and say, oh my gosh, this says I have 3 barns. I don't have any barns. We want to make sure the accurate data.
Correct. And so like a nuisance farm, a couple houses away, it just looks like pure hell. That should count too, right?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean,
So my last question, we go through, guys. You don't like the outcome.
right.
Are you still able to appeal this to the state of Vermont?
Well, let me tell you the process. So you don't like what we decide. You will appeal to the Board of Civil Authority, which is in Bakersfield. So that's the select board, all the justice of the peace and the town clerk. And then at that point, they
Not
consider,
us. Not
no,
us.
not us.
We have to be there, but we have.
You lost the ends of it and now it goes.
Yeah,
Not out.
not out yet. So then we present our evidence of what we say the value is, and you present your evidence of what you say the value is to that Board of Civil Authority. When you get to that point, 3 people on the Board of Civil Authority have to go through your home. They have to go through and they have to collect data and they have to see everything. Then they make a decision. If you don't like that decision, I believe it goes to environmental court if you appeal. Or is it superior?
you can go to a state appraiser that's set up with the state of Vermont Property Tax Department. Or you can go to court and that's another avenue. You have 2 choices
Yeah, right.
in that revenue.
Hopefully, I don't
also-
think it'll come to that with anybody. I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah,
Thread.
I want to
Yeah.
point out that our Tyler team is going to we're going to have someone present at all the hearings. And so we're versed in asking the right questions and trying to decipher, first off, making sure the factual is correct by 2 parties. That would be great. the dispute typically becomes the value and what's causing it to be less or more. And so we do a little bit of advisement, but we also try to be fair. And we make recommendations either to not adjust the property or to adjust the property. But usually it's always a reason for it. So we're looking for something from the taxpayer that is convincing and so forth. A lot of photos are very helpful, that type of thing. And we will make a recommendation to the Board of Assessors or Board of Listers in this case, and they make the ultimate decision.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not done.
Thank you for coming.
Sorry to take all that time.
That's okay. Thank you for your questions.
Questions that everybody has.
So the simple. Oh, that's nice.
Hello, Terry Gates. So first of all, I'm disappointed that we paid $1,000 for you to drive up people's driveways and not go in and see what they actually had. So I'll put that up there first. Second, I laugh like hell when I look at some of these values. We have nothing in this town, nothing. And you think somebody's house is worth $1 million in Bakersfield? Come on.
I've seen that house.
I don't care what you've seen.
Oh, I know.
Nothing in this town, Tammy. We barely have a store, for gosh sakes. But that's beside the point. Why didn't we?
Say, this is what the house could sell for.
No, I think what it is, Sharon. I know exactly what it is.
Businesses are selling.
Yes. And I had this argument with the state because I was on the select board at the time when they thought they had to come in. It's typical Vermont. They saw the opportunity because we had this house value go sky high and they took advantage of us. I don't care what they say. These houses, and I'm seeing what some of these people paid for their houses. One of them less than 3 months ago, and they're upside down compared to this. So anyways, I want my house looked at, not just a driveway. Nobody contacted me. Nobody asked me what has changed in my house. There's a lot that has changed. So that is what I'm here for.
Right, inspection. So I'm going to be here on Saturday.
I work on
Hearings?
Saturday. But you can set up a time and meeting.
Talk to the listers and set up a meeting with them.
I will do that.
Inspection.
A meeting, an inspection. by
Inspection,
you or
yeah.
Molly. An
Sure,
inspection
if
by
we're
you or
available,
Molly.
we'll do it.
Because you guys are doing the evaluation.
We also made it sound like, oh my gosh, get yourself up to that 100% and you will see such a dive in your taxes. No, we're not. We're not.
I don't think anyone's ever said, get yourself up to 100%.
And the lady to talk to us said,
Who said that?
I can't remember her name. What was her name? From the state of Vermont that told us we were way back with that pleasure only at 87, I think.
But apparently we are now, what was the needs before our?
It was in the low 60s. Is what
We went that far down in a
level of.
couple of years' time.
Pushed out
Oh, absolutely.
across the houses because people were running from city line. So I think it's out in village and rural.
And
Absolutely.
that's what's determining the values, the sales. Not.
Oh, I know. I know. And like I said, I looked at 2 on here that just sold recently and those poor people are upside down.
Which two?
The Montague House is one of them.
The Montague House, you mean Sean?
Mm-hmm.
That went for quite a bit. I thought it did too.
We'll look at it.
Does anyone else have a question or would like to come up to the front?
I have a question.
Come on. Like to hear.
Can you define, I'm assuming a fixture is anything water comes out of or goes into?
Yeah, the
Like
plumbing.
inside faucet is a fixture.
We didn't use.
I'm just trying to figure out how I count the fixtures.
Usually most bathrooms have three fixtures, the toilet fixture, the sink fixture, and the shower fixture. Or it might have a fourth fixture, might be the tub. And usually the kitchen sink is another fixture. Those are the typical fixtures in homes.
So a toilet,
Yeah, Yeah.
like the shower, bathtub,
yes,
a sink.
yes.
Is it hot water?
What about an outside faucet? Does that a fixture? Because I think they're to count my two outside faucets to get the number they have.
What about hot water heater, John?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm gonna say no, that they're usually not counted. An outdoor water spigot is usually not counted.
That should count?
That's correct.
Yeah. Your
Okay,
hot,
then that's wrong on mine. So that's what I was trying,
That's what you
that's
want.
what I was asking.
Right, and you want to contact us during the hearings and let us make those corrections.
I will do that.
Yeah.
There's another issue as well. Thanks.
Hi.
I got a question probably for you. Nicholas from Lovey. Maybe you ever came to our house and walked around and asked questions. It was like a phone call. And did somebody drive down our driveway?
Yes, every property was visited and we dropped off what we call door hangers at every door. Okay, I don't know that, that's possible that some people didn't receive those.
Yeah.
So we also sent out a notice in the mail and we had folks that were driving around town. So that is the case with most properties. I would be shocked if there was some that were missed.
Can we?
We make for out of town owners.
Make a request to come to our house, walk with us, we'll explain things, and you can say, well, this is what this accurate account.
Correct.
And, a fair value of our house.
We will do an inspection of your property if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, we actually would like that. But, when I'm here, I'm at home and my wife is at home.
Okay. Just drop off your name and number and email and we'll take care of that.
You can
Okay.
give me that tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is the comment?
Says, what's the new tax rate going to be, what's the new tax rate going to be, so we should figure out how.
I already did that, John.
it may not have been on.
No, it was there when I answered, both of them. Yeah. Yeah, it was there.
Hi, I have a question, if you can hear me.
I can. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Mark Luno.
Mark?
Yeah,
Okay.
the connection audibly is kind of breaking up, but hopefully I can hear what you're saying. I'm wondering if John could speak to the value of the building lot alone. Ours went up almost 135% from the last appraisal. We don't have accessibility to that without having a special vehicle or do damage to our vehicles often to get there. I'm looking at your neighborhood multiplier, and how is that calculated? How is it possible for that land value to increase by almost 135%?
That's it. Sue and I did.
Okay.
I think that's still
The typical
25%.
1 to 2 acre lot is set around $76,000. And then there's water and sewer that would add to that. In your particular case, folks that had large land, large lots where access is a little more remote, maybe on a class 4 road and so forth. We did a review in 2 different ways. our review was partially well, besides just driving around some of these back roads, but it was looking at maps and looking at the road, the zoning area, and the lot coverage, whether it was the topography or the lot being open or wooded. I think there's a lot of land that is also has a lot of sugar bush on it. And that sells at tends to sell at a little bit of a premium, as you probably understand that. But if I can't address your property specifically, but it may be a concern where you should come in and meet with us individually, and then we can officially look it over again and determine whether that value is fair or not.
Okay. Yeah, the last lister that tried to get there tore their exhaust system off from their car. So anyways, yeah, that's
So maybe it's
that's I think that's what we intend to do.
That's a good idea, especially those remote ones. Usually, a site factor of 1 is a pretty accessible lot, and a very rural lot that the access is not so great because of topography or road. That factor would be a 0.6 or 0.5, which would, obviously that lowers it from 1.
Yep.
Hope that's helpful, but
Well, thank
happy
you.
to look at it.
Most 2/3 of the road is class 4, then the last third is approximately 3/4 to a mile long, and that's a legal trail.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. But my question was, the neighborhood multiplier, how was that calculated?
So the way the what we call it's called the land schedule. And the land schedule, we review sales that we can, and we set values at different intervals. Let's say like 1/10 of an acre or 1/4 of an acre. And if it's a large lot, it's acre to acre. And so we look at the sales on that scale. And typically with land sales, you have a diminishing return curve. So very large lots tend to sell for less on a per acre basis, but obviously the overall would sell for more. And the neighborhood multiplier of 10 in this case would be considered a typical neighborhood. If it's an 11 or 12, it would be considered a better location than the average. And if it's a 9 or an 8, it would be a neighborhood that tends to be a little less desirable. And those are those more rural areas usually, the 9 or the 8 neighborhoods, because of access, remoteness, utilities, that type of thing. Hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Speaking for you guys to go around and redo these evaluations, or is that included in the $9,000 RFP?
It's part of the contract to look at more properties when asked, and to meet with folks. This is just part of the public where this becomes open, and it allows the property owners to say, hey, it's my turn to review and meet with us.
Did you have parties with you when you did these evaluations?
You mean the property record cards?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, this is Mark again with another question. Can you hear me okay?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
This is
Yes.
water and sewer rates. Ours increased 250% from last year. And we use an outhouse 11 and a half months out of the year. Like to know how that number grew so much.
So I can't speak on your property individually, but if you come in to a hearing and you meet with us here in front, you could tell us about your particular water and sewer, leach field and so forth. And if it's below average, that can be an adjustment to that line item. As you may understand, installing septic systems in leach fields are very expensive. They are a lot more expensive than they used to be, partially because of government regulations. So the cost that we use is, I think it's relatively reasonable, but there are exceptions to the rule, and it sounds like you might have an exception to the rule.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else would have a question or need some clarification with this, how this is all done?
I have a question. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
go ahead. What's your name?
It's Jason Luno.
Jason Luno.
And this may have been asked,
Thanks,
but
Jason.
I couldn't, this may have been asked, but I couldn't hear the answer. Was each property visited by an appraiser?
Each property was supposed to be visited by an appraiser. I believe each property was visited by an appraiser.
So would we know if our property was, like, is there documentation to say whether or not our property was visited by an appraiser?
Yes, we keep records of the site visits.
Okay.
I think there's new photos of every property.
Oh, yeah,
correct?
and you probably would have a new photo of your property. Is it a vacant property or a improved property with a house or a camp or some type of structure?
Yeah, it's a camp.
It's the same property.
It's the camp. It's the same.
What's a camp?
Mark.
It's
Yes,
difficult to get to. It's the one where the
Yep.
bridge is out.
right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, might be one of the oddballs.
Yep. I think
Okay.
it is.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
I think it is. They may not have gotten to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were more difficult to.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's a hard one.
They've been there
Yeah.
before the road went down.
I guess I'll just share a little bit of information. I'm going to be here on Saturday in the afternoon. And so if someone wants to come in and talk about their property and has information to share, we like photos, we like to understand the comments, we like to understand what work has been done on the properties recently, what work needs to be done on the property to help us get an indication of the overall physical condition. Those are all very helpful to us, and obviously we want the factual information to be correct. We want the measurements to be correct, and that's our goal. And we would gladly change people's properties adjustments if we find any errors on their particular property. Saturday and on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Get the book.
What's that?
You make appointments.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
Actually,
And it's-
Friday,
Huh?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
I'll be on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
And it's in the letter that was sent to you.
11 to 5 will be here on Saturday. Yes.
It's Memorial Day weekend, right? Just making sure that everyone's it's a holiday week.
I only did it at Tammy's wishes.
Just clarifying.
Yeah.
You know.
I understand that.
And the suggestion, if you're interested to come and get information, it would be very helpful if you would let us know. We could actually have your cost sheet available to you if you need it.
You can have it tonight before you leave if you like.
So just
Yeah.
let Tammy
You
know.
need to know your name, that's all. Interestingly enough, there was a researcher in here that has another appraiser company. She's from Williston, and they had another appraisal company doing their thing, and they were having no interior inspections. Which is, I don't know. I don't know if that's the trend, you know, kind of going. I think, yeah, I think one of the things is there's so much more data they can pull off the internet, and I don't know. But they were having none, because I was like, wow. So I don't know. We can make appointments. I can print off your cost sheet before you leave.
Can I make one for Saturday?
Yeah. Yes, you may.
Kevin Curley?
Closing the meeting, moving on to scheduling.
Well, it's up to whether people have any more information they'd like to ask from us.
Yeah.
You have more you want to ask right now?
No, if we could get a copy of the counts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I can
Yeah.
do that. So if we've answered what we could,
Everybody online?
nobody else has put any information or question out there.
Whoops, here's one, Sarah Jo.
Oh, okay, thank you for this important information. These meetings are valuable to our community. Thank you, Sarah Jo.
Yeah. So, and let us know, you know, we're not exactly here all the time, but we will be here Saturday.
We will be
next
here
week.
Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday.
Friday.
Anybody just show up, show up.
No, I have appointments.
So you have to make.
It'd be good.
Well,
Yep.
I just want to, I want to make sure you're following the process of law.
Good idea.
And that is that anyone requesting a meeting before the listers have to have a letter in writing, just to follow, just so,
Application.
even if it's a simple letter, I'm saying I'd like to grieve my property for these 2-3 reasons.
I did one online.
That would be preferred,
Have yours.
that you do that so that you're following the process if it's ever challenged or something goes missing or something like that. That's going to be up to you two, but
Do you want it
The form?
beforehand? Or do you want them to bring it with you?
they should bring it with me, yeah.
Okay.
Do a little bit
Just
of work.
bring it with you
Yeah.
for the grievance hearing. Yep, and I've got one right here.
No, I have.
Okay. Anybody needs one, I can give it to them. And-
So that's if you
Have a
want.
question.
Exactly.
You have a
You want-
question back there?
We need a copy.
Okay.
So it's Saturday, there's questions, or is that?
You have a.
No. Saturday will be an official meeting.
That is an official.
Yeah, yes, yep,
So that's fine.
yep. That would be my appointment.
John?
Yeah.
Jim? The updated cost sheet. I can give you that before you leave. I think you got one?
I think,
Looks like we're all.
thank you.
All right,
Call me.
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
Vote. So we're adjourning the meeting at 6:55.
Thank you very much.